And to thank you, we're having a Customer Appreciation Day Saturday, December 2nd from 9 to 3. Take an extra 10% off all jewelry items as our appreciation to you, our loyal customer. Plus pictures with Santa and permanent jewelry with Spark Artistry custom jewelry. We look forward to seeing you at Tracy's Fine Jewelry Saturday, December 2nd from 9 to 3.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likas with today's Car Clinic Minute. Romance. You, your honey, and your SUV out for a night on the town. During dinner, she steals your heart. But wait, that's not all that's stolen. When I come back, I'll give you the facts. Could be, as you woo one love tableside, someone else is busy with your other love curbside. Yes, 1.6 million vehicles are stolen each year. That's 1 every 20 seconds. Top targets? SUVs and sports cars. And if they're under 5 years old in a city over 250,000, bullseye. So if you're an LUV with your SUV, protect it from unwanted cupids with warning or immobilizing devices, tracking systems, and good old common sense. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us, you'll love us.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. Growing up in Oklahoma, I had big dreams of becoming a successful country music singer. But I also knew the odds were against me and that I needed an education to fall back on. Studying never got in the way of my dreams. In fact, school gave me lots of opportunities I wouldn't have had otherwise with my career. Please stay in school and try your best. You never know where a good education might take you. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Go home to the NFL. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, good Tuesday morning here in the Florida Panhandle. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. As always, joined by my co-host, our director of instruction out there, the golf guru, Jay Henley. Jay, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Ron. How you doing?
I'm doing good. The sun's shining. It's a little cool and a little breezy, but hopefully come 6:45 tonight when the Southern Elite Sports flag football season gets kicked off with the first game, maybe the wind will die down a little bit.
Hashtag building that dynasty, baby.
Hashtag we are trying, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
And DJ Davey Crockett behind the glass, looking good in his swag back there, ready for the game tonight, our defensive coordinator. What time are you going to be there tonight?
I don't know. We'll see.
You're the special teams coordinator.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to need special teams tonight. I think.
But what if we do? We are not prepared.
It's not going to be a Bears game from last night where you kick 5 field goals to win the game
and throw 27 interceptions and not do anything with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that was tough.
That was
proving Tom Brady's point. Unfortunately. Bet the under. Bet the under.
I did.
Did you bet the under?
I did.
Nice.
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the total?
40. I did 40. 45.
Oh, 45.
45 was the total?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I know.
Could have took that under twice.
Yeah, right.
For real. It's like we got the Iowa version of the NFL last night.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't really see a whole lot of the game, but, what happened to Josh Dobbs? Just started throwing a lot of interceptions.
Terrible.
So once you know the playbook, then it gets worse?
Yeah. He was just living vicariously through Kirk Cousins in prime time.
Yes, trying to make him feel better. Yeah, there you go. They're 6-6.
Yeah, 6 and 6.
They're
The Bears.
kind of in the playoff hunt, and the
Right.
Bears are
4. I think they won 4 now. The Bears, but that was the first. What did they say last night? That was the first win for the Bears coach in that division in a year and a half.
Oh, a divisional? That was their first divisional win?
In a year and a half.
I do know it was the first game this year won without a touchdown scored.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's crazy.
I know.
But that's what it's been trending,
So
though, right?
if you bet an anytime touchdown, it didn't work out so good.
Right.
Some of these people right here.
Yeah.
Not even a rushing touchdown.
Did you bet that?
Yeah.
Oh, for Dobbs.
What? No. I think I took both running backs. But I had a lot of success last weekend with in-game, same-game parlays, anytime touchdowns with 2 players.
Oh, yeah.
And I kept trying to do it, and that's what happens when you keep trying to do it. You eventually fall off the cliff.
You do.
But you got the under.
I did.
Look at you, back in Florida with the Hard Rock app, making some stuff happen.
So this is the best thing in 2023 thus far.
Gambling. Legally. The best thing in
And
2023.
he had to wait all the way to the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I wonder where I need to do some research. I feel like if it would have been ended, it already would have been ended.
Well, I think
With the
so,
whole
too. Yeah.
compact or whatever they called it and all that
So
stuff.
they have the ability to
because
shut this down.
Yeah, that's
That's
how
what
it
happened 2
last
years
time.
ago.
It got
got ruled.
and then
Don't shut this down, man. I already got 2024 Masters winners,
You got some futures out
I
there.
got some is that what you call it, the futures?
Yeah.
I got some futures out. Don't shut this thing down,
Hey,
man.
look at you knowing these gambling words. I'm impressed. I like that sweater too, V-neck, bringing it back. I hadn't
got
seen a
that
V-neck
right.
sweater in a hot minute.
Hey, man.
When we purged our house, I got donated a lot of V-neck sweaters.
I got my North Carolina Tar Heel blue going on.
Is that an Adidas polo you got on underneath?
I don't know. I have no
I think
idea.
I had that one.
Yeah.
It's a vertical stripe, isn't it?
It
It is?
No, it's horizontal.
The
Yeah.
collar's got vertical.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if that's vertical, mine was a vertical stripe.
Anything to stay warm. Yeah,
That's right.
That's it.
Tonight you got to dress warm. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I wish I knew the words. This is beautiful. Won't you be my neighbor?
I'm not going to hold
so
that up there too long.
I know.
What's that one on Instagram right now, Mr. Rogers, where he's like, "I'm so proud of you right now."
I'm proud of you every day.
Yeah.
No
Got
hat
my
today, though.
Cardigan sweater. Oh, the cardigan sweater.
Yep.
That's what Mr. Rogers had.
Hence, David playing the Mr. Rogers theme song.
It makes you want to go night-night.
Was it a puppet? Did he have a puppet? How did that work?
I think he had a puppet. I know he
Yeah.
had goldfish.
Ooh, goldfish.
He feed the fish.
I wonder if it was like Uga, where like he had a goldfish, but then you had, the goldfish would have passed. And so then you'd have to get another goldfish, and it was like whatever he called them, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the mascot.
But Mr. McFeely was the mailman. And I don't know what did he
Yeah,
do?
but Mr. McFeely.
His name was Mr. McFeely?
Mr. McFeely. He was the mailman, but I don't know what part did he play in that. He would just bring there would be some mail come, and he would read out the mail. Yeah.
You sure do know a lot about Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Hey, I grew up with it, man. It was great.
See, I was kind of a little on the backside of it, I believe.
Okay.
Like he was kind of going out.
You're more Teletubby.
No, I was more like Ren and Stimpy and that kind of stuff.
I don't remember. I remember the name, but I don't remember that
Man,
one.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold, the Angry Beavers, Rugrats. That was my heyday.
I was already a teenager at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my dad loved Ren and Stimpy because it was so vulgar. And it was on Nickelodeon. Man, how times have changed,
Yes.
that is for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, Mr. McFeely getting the mail. Mm-hmm. You going to do a tip of the week today? Are you going
I
to pull
will.
something out of the old Mr. McFeely mailbag? Figure that us out?
It's Jay's Golf Tip of the Week.
He wasn't ready, but guess you are
I
now.
don't know if I'm ready for this or not. What do you want to talk about, Ryan?
I'm so proud
We
of
can
you.
always revisit this. We were using your tip last night at flag football practice, though, right?
We were.
Were you really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know which one, but
I don't remember.
Rhythm and balance.
Oh, that's right. That's
Rhythm and
right.
balance.
When everybody, when you're stretching your quads and you stand on one foot, half the kids can't stand up. And I said something to I was like, yeah, he needs to use the Jay Henley tip of the week, rhythm and balance.
absolutely.
Balance is key.
Yeah, that's cool.
How about I ask you a question for your tip of the week?
I like it.
You're playing golf like right now.
Uh-huh.
It's a little cooler. It's a little windier.
Sure.
What should I do to adjust for the temperature and the wind? I'll make it easier. I'm hitting into the wind. What should I do?
Is it cliche to say when breezy, swing easy?
Well, you just did, so.
Yeah, I mean, you just add another club and you play the wind. It's cold. I mean, we said yesterday, like anywhere in America, the The ball just travels less distance here than anywhere in America,
Yes,
right?
because of the humidity and being right at sea level.
Yeah. So now let's add some degrees here where it's 52 degrees and it's windy. You got a headwind. You don't have a tailwind, headwind. I mean, if I'm hitting 7-iron 170, let's say in the summer, and you've got a 170 shot, I mean, man, I may be hitting like a hybrid at that point, like a 4 hybrid or something. Yeah. I mean, that's like a 3 or 4 club. That's 30, 40 yard difference.
That's a huge difference. Yeah, absolutely.
So wind breezy, swing easy.
Because solid contact can fight the wind.
It can.
You see so many people when they're hitting into the wind, they try to hit it harder, or because of the wind, they make it feel like, but it's all about solid contact.
That's all it is.
A solid contact golf shot will cut through that wind way more than you trying to wail on it. So that goes back to what you said. Swing easy when it's breezy, but also club up. When it's colder, the ball doesn't compress as much. It doesn't go as far, let alone the wind. So if you're out there playing, we're going to call it winter golf. It'll be cold for a couple days, and then it'll get warm again. It's going to rain, but it'll still get warm again. That compression changes, and that changes your distance. And distance it's not how far you hit your club. It's knowing how far you hit your club.
But if you hadn't had a chance to get out and hit on that winter rye out there at Bay Point, man, I did it this morning. It's nice.
Yeah.
You get a good pelt of grass.
Does it say old beaver pelt?
Yep. Oh yeah. And it was good to. I haven't swung a club in, man, it's been weeks, and it felt good this morning.
Nice.
So,
Weeks for you. That's
it is a long time. Yeah.
That is a long time. That's for sure. And not only your tips of the week, but let everybody know again what kind of stuff you've got coming up the next month or so.
Yeah, we've got a lot of action.
Kids will be out of school in a couple weeks, looking for some stuff to do, staying busy, trying to work on all their athletic stuff. And what do you got going on?
I know Bay County lets out of school December 22nd, so it's going to be kind of a later, them getting out of school. But next weekend is going to start our Elite Super 6 series. I know it's kind of hard to talk about.
Elite Super 6.
Hey, look, we're already half full in that. I mean, and we just got it out yesterday.
I appreciate you saying half full.
Yeah, it's not half empty.
Yeah, it's half full.
It's half full.
Positivity.
There you go. And so we've got 3 more spots left there. Qualifications for that is ages 13 to 17. You've had to have played in a Emerald Coast Junior Tour event, Under Armour Tour event, a U.S. Kids Golf Tour event, or be a part of a high school golf team member. So, that's going to happen next weekend from 1 to 4, Saturday, Sunday. Then it's going to happen again December 16th, 17th, which is another Saturday, Sunday. The big caveat to that is Michael Shears is going to be with us. He's going to, we're going to take the kids out on the golf course. We're going to teach them on-course management, hit some specialty shots. I mean, this is stuff that you're just not going to learn on YouTube or any of that. This is stuff that you're going to learn on course with me and Michael. Go to golfwithjay.com to get signed up. You can just click on Student Clinic Booking, and you'll see the flyer there. It's easy to sign up.
The Elite Super 6 series.
Yep, that's coming
half
up.
Full. Only 3 spots left.
Yes. And then if you have elementary kids, December 27th through the 29th, that's going to be ages 7 to 10. That's a 3-day program that we'll have, a couple days after Christmas. And then for ages 11 to 14, we're going to have a camp January 3rd through the 5th, which is Wednesday through Friday. And you can get signed up at golfwithjay.com there as well. So we got a lot going on.
Well, and of course, too, if you're looking for a gift of golf,
yes,
you can purchase gift certificates, gift cards, whatever it may be, for lessons for anybody in your family or a friend. You're tired of watching your friends play terrible golf. What's the best way to get them going better? Golfwithjay.com.
Experiences. That's what it's all about. This, it's been like that for years, I feel like. But buy experiences. I think it's a great thing to do. So,
And the better you are at golf, the better your experience is.
That's right. You got that right.
Managing expectations.
Yes,
that's
sir.
for sure. So the tip of the day today is the cliche tip of the day.
Yeah.
When breezy, swing easy.
Yeah,
and really, you should swing easy all the time.
You should.
Because swing speed is generated by mechanics and not necessarily how hard you try to hit the ball.
Well, and everybody talks about it's a 70% game. Do you believe that? I believe anything you do in golf is 70%.
I play so much better when I feel like I'm hitting like 3/4 shots all the way around the golf course, with irons especially.
Yeah, you can't go out and try to beat that golf course because that golf course will beat you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. We didn't have anybody pass the PAT yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Goose egg. Not one. Jack Wong, who played for Mosley High School.
He did.
Yeah, he's going to Florida Gulf Coast University. He shot a pair of 80s. He had the lowest score. But, man, yesterday morning, that first 18 was just tough. Cold, windy. Brings a lot of that water into play when that ball's moving all over the place. But, again, if you swing easy and make solid contact, cuts right through that wind.
It does. Now, will that get him into the program at 80-80?
Well, when you go to a school that has the program, you automatically get into the program. It's a little different requirements. And again, when I went to Coastal, you just had to pass your PAT before you graduate or before you started level 3. Now, I think if you're not doing it through a school, you have to at least have one score within half the target score plus 5 to start it.
I got you.
But at universities, it might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
It changes so much. I mean, back in the day, the PAT, I mean, you had to shoot your target score.
Yeah.
Now, they allow you to have half of it to enter the program. And now, starting last year, about this time, they allow you to combine 2 PAT scores into one to maybe pass.
I got you.
They want that money.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They want that cash money.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's the only thing in golf where you know what you have to shoot before you even tee it up.
That's right.
And it's not one of those where you got to go make a bunch of birdies. And it's such a mental game because people think, okay, if the target score is 158, that means I got 79. So I can make 7 bogeys each round, which is a horrible way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you make a bogey? Now you're like, now I can only make 6 bogeys.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is putting added, we talk about stress in golf and managing stress. The better you can manage stress, the better you play because your mechanical works better.
Right.
That's just adding more stress.
Yeah.
It's creating a notion that of something that's there that may not really be there.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to fairways and greens too, and that's one thing that the golf world's got away from. You know, we've talked about this where everybody's like, beat it down there at 380, and I don't care.
Hit it as far as you can, wherever it is, hit it again, try to make birdie.
But, you know, and back to that PAT, if you hit fairways and greens and you 3-putt, you know, like 3 or 4 times, you're gonna pass,
Yeah.
and that's, I think it's got to go back to the traditional fundamental way of golf, but I don't think it's going to ever trend that way.
Well, it's funny you say that because, you know, I was the examiner for the PAT.
Right.
Took in Bud Rousey's place. I don't know if, I hope Bud's, he might have, I don't think he, no, I think he's still good.
Okay.
I don't know. But what's funny, this is how connected the golf business is. When I came down here in 2015, Bud was the PAT examiner, and I've been an examiner for a while. His son, Nick, was in a playoff at a Hooters Tour event that we hosted in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't end up winning, but I knew his son Nick before I knew Bud.
Oh, did
but
you
that's
really?
the golf world.
That
in a
is.
nutshell.
It is. It's amazing.
I remember his son, he didn't play with any gloves, and he hit his irons an absolute mile, but he lost in a playoff.
And what's his name again?
Nick Rousey is his son.
Nick Rousey.
I know he was trying to make it on the Corn Ferry and all that.
Sounds familiar.
I don't know what ever happened. He's a great player, fantastic player. But that's just another, we talk about it all the time, how difficult it is to make it to those next levels, that's for sure. You know what we are excited about doing? Jay, you got bounced. I'm sorry. But
that's
the,
all right. I got bounced from that?
Yeah, because Wes had already been talking to him, and it's only 3v3.
Oh.
So we would have felt bad if we kicked Wes out. He's the one that's kind of been talking to these guys a whole bunch.
Yeah.
So it's going to be me, Gavin, Wes, Team Bay Point are going to take on the DOD King, the driver off the deck King, as well as the 2 other gentlemen there, the Team North. So it's going to be a big-time event. We're going to try to do it on the 9th, but it may get pushed to the 10th. Okay. But it's going to be Phil, and, you know, go check out the CAV golf account there on Instagram or on TikTok. Hundreds of thousands of followers. He knows DJ Khaled, all these people. They're down here for a few weeks, and we've been talking to them, and we've set up a match. It's going to be Team Bay Point versus DOD plus Team North.
That'll be good.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, though.
Well, I mean, you know, I'll be on the sidelines for flag football. I can be sidelines for the 3v3.
And that's because you can handle it.
Oh,
if it was 4v4, you're in.
That's all good.
But you didn't make the cut.
But if somebody does get sick or whatever, I've got my hair.
You're right there.
Hand up in there.
You're right there.
Yeah.
It's all about. It's gonna be. I'm there for the trash talking.
Right.
And the occasion. Putting is kind of my forte.
Yeah.
And if somebody's got the ball in the fairway, we can take a cut. But we got Gav. And he hits the ball. Apparently, Wes is really good.
I've never played with Wes, but I've heard he's a good player. So yeah,
we'll see. Because we watched I was riding around the PAT yesterday afternoon. The guys were playing a little modified match between him and the 2 other guys, and we watched him hit on 7. And I think he was sandbagging us because he kind of hit like a really poor faded shot. And me and Gavin each swung one. It wasn't pretty, but we at least hit it.
I gotcha.
Because, sitting around, or not sitting around, but coming out of the office in a golf cart, grab a club and swing, that's how you end up pulling a muscle in your back.
Right out of the fresh out of the trunk.
Right out of the trunk. There you go. But that'll be exciting. It's funny. A lot of people message because he's been posting from at Bay Point and stuff. He's like, "Did you know this guy's here?" I was like, "Yeah, we know he's here. He's a driver off the deck king. His MO is hitting drivers off the deck, I guess."
Which is talent.
That is talent.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna challenge him on that.
You know what loft is?
Lack of talent.
Lack of talent.
Lack of
LOFT.
Yeah. That F's sometimes used as a different word, but that's a whole nother story. Neither here nor there. Coming up in the next segment, we'll have Doc A. He'll be back on.
I can't wait.
He told us a good story last week, but he saved another story for this week coming up. Then I was going to ask him about the in-season tournament, see how that's going on. And you know what happened to LeBron James last night for the first time in his career?
And the Lakers scored like 80 at best.
It was the
terrible.
largest deficit in a game in LeBron's career.
Yeah.
I got it right here somewhere. Yeah, maybe not. But anyway,
Sixers took it.
I think it was 44 to, what'd you say, 80 something?
Oh, yeah. It was like
here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
44 points is the most lopsided loss in LeBron James's career. It's 138 to 94 that the Sixers took care of business over the Lakers. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't really care, but we'll ask him about it.
Yeah.
Later up, we're going to talk about Tiger. Tiger's playing golf again.
Oh, I can't wait.
Keith's text in our group earlier is the epitome of Tiger Woods people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like they're just desperate for him to play golf.
Hey, his odds are at the bottom to win this tournament. I mean, I'll throw some money on him.
He ain't gonna do it.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm a Tiger fan, man.
I know you are. He won the Tour Championship in 08. He won the Masters in 2018. 2019, he won the Masters. That was the hurrah. He should have rode off into the sunset there.
If he wasn't hosting this event, I would put money on him for this week. But, as a host, being a PGA or professional, the host never wins the tournament. He never wins. Because
if Tiger could win, he would.
Nah.
You can't turn off that Tiger mentality.
Yeah. I'm excited this week, though, the Hero World Challenge. When does that kick off? Is that Thursday or Friday? You don't know?
I don't know if I just know it's coming up this week. A lot of good stuff coming up this week. Doc A is coming up next.
Yes.
Excited to hear what he has to say.
Me too.
Some good stuff. NBA action going on. The in-season tournament is heating up. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida has the real local fishing report. Hi, this is Tim from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. Join me every Friday at 4:20 during the afternoon Underdogs. It's accurate, detailed content from local anglers, plus fishing updates on Saturday and Sunday morning right when you hit the water. Advice and stories from local anglers. Tune into the Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle Fishing Report, exclusively on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning, this is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For this afternoon and evening, clear and a high of 57 with wind 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the north. Clear skies tonight, a light wind and cool near 40. Mostly sunny and 58 tomorrow. 65 and some clouds with a gentle breeze Thursday. Friday, mostly clouds in the morning followed by moderate rain and a temperature a little warmer at 72. This is your Tuesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The holidays are coming. Celebrate the season with the Humane Society of Bay County at their annual fundraiser, Santa Paws Holiday Photos. Photo packages start at just $45 and are considered a donation to the Humane Society. Gather up your fur babies, family, and friends and come on over. Holiday photos take place Saturday, December 2nd and Sunday, December 3rd at their thrift and gift store. Appointments are recommended, but walk-ins are welcome. Create everlasting memories this holiday season.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more straight talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Do you suffer from political talk radio fatigue? Then tune into the most fun and exciting new radio show on the Gulf Coast. It's The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Jay, it's Tuesday. It's 11:20 in the Central Time Zone. What does that mean?
Is Doc A on the phone?
I think Steve Alexander is on the line with us. Doc A. Doc, how are you doing today?
My boys, what's going on?
Hey, we're down here in the Florida Panhandle. A little chilly and windy down here, but we'll survive. I'm still working on finding you a place to come down sometime in the near future.
Did you enjoy that Auburn meltdown?
Oh, being an Auburn fan, that was tough. That's for sure. 4th and 31, the Milroe Miracle. That's for sure. Ooh,
well, and the muff punt. I was
feel terrible for that kid.
I was in Olive Garden, which I never go to Olive Garden, but my daughter wanted to go to Olive Garden, so I had it on my phone at the table, and he dropped that kick, and I was like, that's it. Like, this is not going to end well.
Did the breadsticks just fall all over the floor, Doc?
Yeah, well...
The good news is you can get more.
If I had gone to Auburn, I have a feeling I would have smashed that salad bowl into 1,000 pieces, and then they would have had to bring me a new bowl of salad.
Oh, man, yeah, that was tough. It was funny you mentioned that. I was going to bring this up, and it reminded there was a guy who put $10,000 on Auburn plus 650, and he cashed out literally right before that play. And he cashed it out for $61,606.74.
Oh, my goodness.
Brilliant.
Jeez.
Brilliant. But
dude, speaking of bad beats, my buddy Luke, I saw him the other day, and he's like, dude, I messed up. I'm like, what'd you do? And he's like, well, I was drunk last night, and I was already down like $200, and Tulane was playing like Rutgers or some weird basketball game, and somebody was up 22 points in the second half, and he live bet it and put $1,400 to win $200.
Oh God!
And when he woke up out of his drunken stupor the next day, I guess Tulane went on some crazy run, and some guy scored like 30 points, and they won by 4.
Jesus!
And he lost like $1,500. He was absolutely devastated. I think we may have to do a little GoFundMe for my boy Luke.
Oh, poor Luke. Geez. And there's so many morals of that story that come out of that. First one I get: don't gamble when you're hammered. You're going to make poor judgment, bad decisions. Never bet a big sum to win a little sum, because that's where the bad beats always seem to come out.
I'm starting to get. Hey, look, I'm getting.
Jay is learning now. He's got the Hard Rock bet.
Yes, and with talking to you every Tuesday with NBA, I'm starting to gather some NBA on my end. Like, I'm really enjoying it, and it seems like to me, I'm all about the total points when I bet, and it seems like you can kind of see about midway through the second quarter what that game's trending, and I've been fortunate thus far, but. I'd always pick the under if I see, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
Well, Doc could probably explain more on the ways to bet NBA games.
I would love to hear some of Doc's, gambling information here.
The first thing is, anytime anyone is playing against the Indiana Pacers, you want to go high scoring, because they play zero defense. And, last night, DeAndre Jordan, Malcolm Brogdon, DeAndre Ayton, or not DeAndre Jordan, Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, and Malcolm Brogdon all just went nuts against the Pacers. And that seems to be the thing that's happening every time they play. They're like the 1980s Denver Nuggets, where they just are trying to see if they can score more points than their opponent, and they don't give a darn about defense.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I guess the in-season tournament, the group play is pretty much wrapping up. Your Indiana Pacers that you just mentioned, they're 4-0 and have already clinched a spot in the elimination rounds, if I'm saying that correctly. One of the few teams, the Lakers, have also clinched a playoff or a elimination bracket. It's hard to say this kind of stuff. And several teams have been eliminated. So I guess each team plays 4 games in that. Is that right?
I believe so. And then I think it wraps up tonight. Like the pool play wraps up tonight. So then we'll know more about who's in the playoff part of it, which all goes down next week. And it's a really weird time in the NBA because we don't know the schedule for next week. Like, if you look at the NBA schedule for next week, it's all blank. Every team plays 2 games, but we don't know where teams are playing. And it's frustrating and interesting as a fantasy guy to try to figure out, the moves you're going to make for next week and who you want to pick up, because you don't know you don't know the schedule. You don't know who teams are playing. You don't know the matchups. And then if you're an actual real NBA team, you don't even know where you're playing next week. So you don't have hotel rooms booked. You don't know how you're getting to where you're going. You don't know if you're going to the West Coast, if you're an East Coast team. So very, very strange week. A week like we've never seen before in the NBA. But I guess we'll know more after tonight's game, and then hopefully the next week's schedule comes out tomorrow.
Well, fortunately, I think some of the best airline value is today, and then I think there's a lot of good airline values.
I don't know if these NBA teams are worried much about how much these plane tickets cost, considering a lot of them, some of them have their own team jets and that kind of stuff. Hey,
yeah, most of them don't care.
But if you're trying to pinch a couple pennies, hey.
I know they want to know who they're playing, at least.
Yeah, definitely. But hopefully after tonight, all that will be determined, and you guys will be able to get back. But yeah, some unprecedented new times here in the NBA. Doc, let me ask you a football-related question, being the big NFL Niners guy I am. Niners-Eagles, what do you like? Potential conference championship matchup.
Yeah, that should be a good one. Jalen Hurts, that number he pulled off the other night where he looked like he knew he was going to win that game, didn't he? He's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, when Jake Elliott just absolutely drilled the 59-yarder to force overtime in the pouring rain. him and Kelsey were like, yep, that was expected. They're all business. Yeah. There's no doubt.
Yeah, so, I mean, that should be a hell of a game. Where is that game?
It's in Philly.
Every time I watch Philly, it seems like they're playing on a wet field in the rain, whether it be the Super Bowl or the playoffs or the last couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see what the weather's like in Philadelphia. I mean, the weather could be a huge factor in that game. And, San Francisco is windy and chilly, but it ain't Philadelphia cold. No. So I think Philly has to be hoping for maybe some wind and some snow and some bad Philadelphia weather. I don't know what the line is. I haven't looked at that.
The Niners opened, I don't know where they are now, but they opened as a 2.5-point favorite. It climbed to 3 points at one point, which was bizarre. I think it's the first time ever in NFL history that a 10-1 team opened as a home underdog of a field goal or more in the primary Super Bowl area, with their primary quarterback, in the Super Bowl era.
Well, I think that tells you just how scary and good Christian McCaffrey is, right? Like, this dude is just a machine. So I'm going to go Eagles.
Okay. Well, here's the forecast. 53 is the high, 45 is the low, winds from 5 to 10, 40% chance of rain. Increasing clouds, showers arriving sometime in the afternoon. So it could be raining at game time.
It could be.
That certainly could be a factor, that's for sure.
Hey, Doc, what about a Wembanyama update? The Spurs seem to be kind of struggling this year.
As expected.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that on my podcast. I can't tell if Pop has just lost his mind or if he's tanking on purpose and wants another really good draft pick. But, I mean, this team has only won 3 games. They haven't won a game in a while. I think they've lost 12
straight,
13 in a row. Wemby looks incredible, dude. I'm just walking on pins and needles with him. He's on both of my main fantasy teams. I'm in that 30-team league that's almost impossible to win, and I've got by far one of the best teams in that league, and I've got one of my best players hasn't even played for me yet. Cam Thomas has been hurt for the Nets. He's been on my bench every week. If I had him in there, I'd be running away with that thing. So I just pray that Pop keeps playing Wemby 25 minutes a night, which is that's not crazy minutes. Like, just let the kid keep playing 25 minutes, keep losing every game. I'm fine with it. But, Wemby the other night had, 4 blocks and 6 steals and 22 points and a bunch of rebounds. And he's been up and down. He hasn't been super consistent, but when he's on and when he's doing Wemby things, there's no one like him, and it's the reason everybody was so excited about him coming in. So my goal for this year is to watch the Spurs continue to lose every night and just let Wemby play his 25 minutes and rack up his numbers for me, and I'm good with that. But, yeah, Wembanyama, he's still must-see TV. The hype is real, and he's basically lived up to, I think, almost all the expectations that we had for him. He's hitting threes, he's blocking shots, he's stealing the ball. And the steals he makes are crazy because if he's just standing up with his arms up, he's 10 feet in the air, and guys are trying to pass it over him, and he just grabs it out of the air and takes off to the other end of the court.
It's like playing with your 9-year-old in basketball.
It is. It is. And one of the rookies for a team they were playing the other night shook his hand before the game, and they had him mic'd up, and he's sitting there over on the bench talking to his teammates. He's like, dude, his fingers came up to here on my arm when he shook my hand. I've never seen anything like it. He just could not stop talking about how long Wembanyama's hands were, and it's pretty cool to see stuff like that. But yeah, if they're on TV, even if you're not an NBA fan, you should stop and watch what he's doing.
Well, it's like when Popovich grabbed the mic the other night. I felt like they were at a pep rally at a high school basketball game or so. It was like.
I don't know if I've seen.
And he was the principal.
Yeah, coach. Yeah, he was definitely the principal. I don't know if I've seen a coach do that mid-game before. I'm sure it's happened, but that was wild.
That was wild.
Well, you'll see stuff like that in college, right? Like a Big Ten, IU versus Purdue or something. Indiana, when Bobby Knight was there, Indiana fans are doing something Bob Knight doesn't like. He's going to grab the mic and tell everybody to sit down and shut up, or we're going to get a technical foul and lose the game. But I've never seen that in the NBA, and that's another reason I think Pop might be losing his mind. Pop's a pretty old guy now.
Yeah.
Pop's kind of a get-off-my-lawn type of guy these days.
Absolutely. He is the epitome of that. Not only is he losing a ton of games, and he's racking up another tank season to get another great draft pick, but he hasn't popped Wemby yet. He's letting him play every night. Which is very unlike Greg Popovich. He usually does whatever he can to make fantasy managers' lives miserable. He has not done that. He's out on the court yelling at his crowd like they're high school kids. It's just weird stuff, man. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, very, very interesting. I know last week when we talked, you kicked, we got about 4.5 minutes. You kicked a story from last week. I don't know if you remember which one it was going to be to this week, if you wanted to, now that Jay's back here in studio with us. He's got his Mr. I don't know if you've seen it, he's got his Mr. Rogers cardigan sweater on his V-neck, so he's ready for a good story time.
I think I mentioned the Dominique Wilkins story. Dominique Wilkins was my favorite player when he was at Georgia. He was my favorite college player, and then he got ended up getting drafted by Utah and traded to the Hawks, and the Hawks were my team. So when Dominique was a rookie, I was all in on Dominique Wilkins. This guy is my favorite athlete of all time, yada, yada, yada. So I went down to the Hyatt in Indianapolis a couple times, met Dominique. He gave me a wristband. We talked about the wristband thing last week. He signed a bunch of stuff for me, but I was trying to get his shoes. And I asked him for his shoes a couple times, and he was like, no, man, can't do it. Well, I had this friend in Indianapolis, this girlfriend, whose dad was an NBA photographer. He would take pictures on the court of opposing players, and then he would, him and his buddy, who was an artist, his buddy would paint the picture that he took, and then they would sell the painting to the players when they were in town. So this guy had a Rolodex full of NBA players' phone numbers, which I knew because I knew who her dad was. And I went over to her house one night, and I was like, hey, where's your dad's Rolodex? So we went in his office and looked at his Rolodex, and he had Dominique Wilkins' phone number in there, and I wrote it down.
That is awesome.
And I decided that I was going to call Dominique Wilkins because we were going to Atlanta. We were going to Florida for spring break. We were going through Atlanta in 1985, and we had tickets to see them play the Knicks. So I had it in my mind that I was going to call Dominique on the phone and set up a meeting with him to get his shoes at that point. So, dude, I called this phone number, and this guy answers the phone. He's like, hello. And I said, is this Dominique? He goes, yes. I said, hey, I'm Steve, the kid in Indiana that keeps bugging you for your shoes. He's like, okay. What is happening?
Yes.
And so I told him, I said, we're coming to Atlanta for a game. And he's like, hey, man, I'm on the other line with my mom. Can you call me back? And I was like, yes. So I hang up the phone, and I'm sweating. I'm like, oh, my God, what is going on? So I called Dominique back and tell him that we're coming through. And he goes, okay. He's like, all right, meet me on the third floor parking garage at the Omni, and I'll hook you up. And I was like, well, where do I go? What time? Or I'm not even from Atlanta. I'm a kid. I'm 15 years old or whatever. And he's like, yeah, just be at the third floor parking garage a couple hours before the game. So my mom takes me down to the Omni and drops me off. And I'm standing in the parking garage, and Tree Rollins walks by, Randy Whitman walks by, Doc Rivers, Danny Roundfield, all these guys. And then this Mercedes pulls up, and Dominique gets out of it. I've got all this crap in my arms for him to sign. And he's like, I said, Dominique, I'm Steve. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I thought you were probably going to be here. You're psychotic. And he's like, I got two pairs. He's like, I got these that I wear in the dunk contest, and I've got these leather ones that say Dominique on them, the Converse. And he's like, which ones you want? I'm like, I want the leather ones. So he wore those for that game. We watched the game. And I was like, how do I get him? He's like, just stand down outside the locker room after the game. I'll find you. So he comes out, and there's like 150 people down there, and he gives me his shoes, signs them in front of all these people. And then I had to walk through the underground Atlanta to get to our car with my mom and my brother and this family friend. And I've got like an entourage of 100 kids following me through the underground. And I've got the shoes like under my coat. I'm scared to death. I'm going to get
nervous
jacked.
as heck. Yeah.
It was scary. But I have Dominique Wilkins' game-worn shoes from that game in '85, and it's one of my prized possessions.
That's so fantastic.
And I found the phone number written down on the piece of paper I wrote it down on, and I have it pinned on the wall at my desk. And one day on a podcast, I'm going to call that phone number and see if Dominique still has that landline.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be wild just to see if he had a landline in Jenner. But what's crazy about that story is, and we got to go to break, but you can't happen. That can't happen anymore. That's not the reality of what you can do. In order to get an opportunity to get a signature or get something, you either have to, like you said last week, Steve, be right there on the court when they're coming out, or go to some kind of event that you may or may not have to pay for. It's just cool to hear how different it was back then and how you can just build the connections to these players with those kind of opportunities.
Amazing.
Yeah, and you're right. You can't just go to the hotel and hang outside the elevator and meet all the NBA players you want to in this day and age. Then you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, and if you like teams getting on their bus and stuff, it's you and a couple thousand people, it seems like nowadays. But
right.
Doc, real quick before we let you go, what's a good bet for Jay Henley tonight in NBA?
I'm doing it.
Oh, a good bet for Jay Henley tonight in the NBA. You know what? I haven't really looked at it. I looked at a FanDuel lineup. I don't know if you do player props, but I think Terry Rozier is going to go off for the Charlotte Hornets because LaMelo Ball's not going to play.
So they're playing the Knicks. They got the Knicks.
Okay, yeah, maybe the Knicks. I think Terry Rozier is a good prop bet to hit the over on points. But I haven't had time to look at it.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. He's in on the Hard Rock now. When he was up in Georgia on with Thanksgiving,
I was fiending.
He had to wait to come back across that border to be able to bet again. So
Gordon Hayward for Charlotte is another good one for tonight.
Okay,
there you go. Do it as a parlay. Put them both on the over point total. Doc, we appreciate you as always. Love your stories. Looking forward to talking to you next Tuesday. Actually, we won't be. We're going to do a best of next Tuesday. I've got to play in a charity golf tournament that I was invited to play. So tough sledding, that's for sure. But we'll talk to you in a couple weeks, and I'm sure I'll talk to you via text before then. We appreciate you.
All
as
right,
always.
see you guys. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You can check him out on Twitter. It's Doctora, @Doctora. And he's got all his good information on there. And a couple good bets there, Jay. Better put them in. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
First of all, there will be no dinner on the table. There will be no clothes ironed. You will handle that, and you need to shave that gruffiness off your face. Oh,
it's a man's world.
So,
Man's world, baby.
Tonight, you need to bring dinner, okay?
All right, I will.
Goodbye.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The holidays are coming. Celebrate the season with the Humane Society of Bay County at their annual fundraiser, Santa Paws Holiday Photos. Photo packages start at just $45 and are considered a donation to the Humane Society. Gather up your fur babies, family, and friends and come on over. Holiday photos take place Saturday, December 2nd and Sunday, December 3rd at their thrift and gift store. Appointments are recommended, but walk-ins are welcome. Create everlasting memories this holiday season. Ellis Agency Insurance has been serving Panama City and Bay County for years. They offer a full line of affordable insurance coverage of all types. Many people are attracted to Ellis Agency Insurance because of their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Call independent agent Johnny Ellis for a true comparison of your personal or business insurance. Ellis Agency Insurance at the Old Cullen Insurance location, 1134 Harrison Avenue, across from Dandy Donuts and Deli. Call 763-1627.
Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, this is Tim.
Do y'all sell bait?
Yes, we seasonally stock live shrimp, live bull minnows, live sand fleas, live fiddler crabs, earthworms, night crawlers, crickets. We also stock frozen shrimp, sand fleas, mullets, squid, pre-rigged ballyhoo, bonita, stingray, cigar minnows, Boston mackerel, Spanish mackerel, and a few other miscellaneous baits. It's worth the drive to buy premium locally sourced bait from Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
You hear it first. Sports talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I know it seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, Jay, what are you up? Welcome back. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Do you drip a little on your cardigan?
I did.
That's not good. That's cotton there. Is that cotton?
Say what?
Is it cashmere?
It kind of looks cashmere. It feels cashmere.
Wow.
It's
high dollar.
It's warm.
Yeah. Warm is key.
It is.
And a warm sweater goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
We're talking off the break. Another great story by Doc A. I mean, you can't do that nowadays.
Yeah.
Like if a kid wants to get something from a player, you either got to spend a bunch of money to get yourself into a scenario where you could, or I don't know what else you could possibly do.
I don't know. But the persistence part of what he did, absolutely amazing. And
with that kind of effort,
yeah,
and to have the reward is pretty impressive.
The fact that I know what a Rolodex is says my age as well. So
I have a Rolodex in my drawer.
Do you really?
It doesn't have anything in it that I use, but there's one in there.
What could you use that for?
I don't know.
Coupons? Yeah, you could. Yeah. I was thinking, or coupons.
Coupons.
I was thinking of maybe like a paper clip and using them as like a card, like flipping them and see if you can get it in the paper clip.
Oh, like throw
a trick
it
shot,
into the Rolodex?
Trick shot, yeah.
There you go.
Or use the actual note cards or whatever.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. Anyways.
Can you throw cards?
That's an art. I've been seeing a lot of that where people are throwing cards and trick shots, and man, they can hit a dime from like 30 feet away. That's a talent.
It is a talent. You never know how many takes it took, but that's the beauty of video editing.
Well, people put clocks down now that shows their actual time. I mean, that's kind of cool.
That is.
I like that.
Does it lose any of its luster if it says it took you 4 hours to do it?
No, I think that's more persistence, like Doc A.
Because you didn't give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't give up.
Yeah. But to call Dominique's landline, amazing.
Landlines.
Yeah.
Does people still have landlines? When's the last time you had a landline?
It has been a long time.
A hot minute, some might say.
I wish I would have had one when I lost my cell phone a couple of weekends ago. I mean, I would have paid $1 million for a landline at that point.
$1 million?
Probably.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
How'd you get in touch with me? Oh, you called from Steve's phone.
Yeah, fortunately, Steve's my neighbor, down the way.
You and this whole neighbor thing in your cardigan and Mr. Rogers. It's all coming together. Are you gaslighting as Mr. Rogers? We just don't know.
It could be. Could be.
You should start. Hey, there you go. You should do all your YouTube instruction as Mr. Rogers.
Could be. I could be Santa's little helper before long. You see these rosy red cheeks, glasses. Yeah. I just need to eat them.
You're not looking as tan as you normally are.
Really?
Yeah. You haven't been outside as much?
I haven't.
But you also got long sleeves on today.
Yeah. But I don't lose my tan much. I may lose it come February.
It might just be because you're not wearing a hat and you got the old golfer forehead there that's not as tan.
You see this forehead?
Yep.
Yeah, it's white. Yeah.
It is. And Stuart Sink was famous for that.
Oh,
when he took off his hat.
Yeah. He hadn't had hair since he was like 22 or something.
That happens when you wear a hat a lot.
Yeah.
Supposedly. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I think it's more genetics than anything.
Speaking of Stuart Sink, do you think he's still got a little bit of lead in his pencil?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah. You can't ever write Stewie off. He's a good Atlanta boy.
He's just a tech guy, though.
He is a tech guy. Georgia Tech's put out some pretty fantastic golfers over the years.
They really have. They have. Yeah, Kuchar.
Cooch.
Yeah.
Matt. Michael Shears? No. I was thinking of smart schools.
Oh, yeah.
Smart schools.
Smart school.
Engineering smart schools.
Yes.
What do you think is going to happen with all these coaches in the NFL, Jay? Frank's already gone. Didn't even last a full season, but Adam Scheffler's saying that 7 to 10 NFL head coaches could be out before the 2024 season. Why do you think that is? I just want to hear. I don't have an answer. I was just wondering.
I don't know if I have an answer. I mean, you just don't have anybody like tearing it up right now, do you? I mean,
Except
you're 49ers and the Eagles, and then outside of that,
the Chiefs and the Ravens, and the Jags.
See a lot of teams at 500 right now, and maybe at the end of the season, that's what gets you to the championship.
Well, you can be under 500 and be in the playoff picture.
Yeah,
if you're in the NFC South.
Yeah,
you're dirty birds there.
Yeah, I don't know what some of these owners are looking for. I mean, I know you want a winning team, and I know, but you got to find the culture.
Did Matt Rule, and I'm not asking you, I'm asking David, because I maybe know did Matt Rule last a whole season?
With the Panthers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say he got
Couple
2.5, or he got 1.5.
Gotcha. Either way, he got moved on fairly quickly, and then, 11 games in the season, got the boot.
Wow.
This year, right, from Carolina. Did you see, this would be something. Greg Olson put out there that if he got a call from the Panthers, he'd be all in. I think he'd be a good head coach. I love him as an analyst.
Mm-hmm.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. It's always interesting to see those former players become coaches and get in influential positions. I mean, you look at Antonio Pierce over there with the Raiders and the football they're playing, and it's wild, too, because whenever it was Rich Bisaccia who was the interim coach after they got rid of Gruden, he did such a great job. I don't understand why teams don't just at least give their interim coaches a longer leash. Let's go another season. Let's see how you do it through a full season.
It's like because you have that interim tag, it means you're not going to have long-term success.
Yeah.
But you could.
You never know.
But plenty of teams, Jay, are underachieving this year, starting with Bill Belichick's New England Patriots. They're 2-9. What do you think happens to Bill?
He gone.
He gone?
He gone.
Is he riding off into the sunset on his own accord after the season? Or is he being fired? Or is he going to another team? What do you think?
I say they let him go. That's my thought on it.
So fired?
Yeah, fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kraft tells him to get out.
Yeah, and if I was him, I would go ahead and kind of, cut the cord, if you will, in my opinion, because, I mean, it's coming.
Just quit. Just done.
Yeah, just cut the cord. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my thought. But what do you think?
I think that they're going to mutually part ways at the end of the season. But I don't think he should continue coaching. Why? What do you want? Everybody's like, oh, he's going to go to the Chargers. He can take Justin Herbert and make him amazing. Why does Bill want to keep coaching? Because you got the bug. I mean, I guess once you do, he's been doing it for 40 years or whatever.
Right.
So I guess it's kind of hard to stop that. But I don't think he gets fired. I think after the season, they mutually agree to part ways just because of the history he's had there in New England.
Well, and I don't understand it. I've said it so many times. Like, Belichick needs to look in the mirror and say, look, my day in the sunshine happened probably 20 years ago.
Well, it lasted 20 years.
Or yeah. And
not quite 20.
He's just got to look in the mirror and just, like, I think it's a pride thing. I think he kind of wants to keep going. And I don't know, like, go and help a 25-year-old that really wants to be a coach and, like, mentor him and step aside.
But is his coaching style still viable in the NFL? I'm going to ask David that question.
Yeah, that's a good David question.
Is Bill Belichick's coaching style still viable in today's NFL?
Oh,
I know, that's a deep one.
Well, it's viable because things happen in cycles, and it looks like it's heading back to that defensive status quo. You got to have that quarterback in place, and that's one thing. We're starting to see it's starting to become glaringly obvious, and it's not just Tom Brady was the better half of that relationship. Well, yes, I mean that's largely true to a large degree,
but he was
because
a piece
of what he
of a
did.
large puzzle.
Well, right, but where people can be right on that side of the fence is that he went to Tampa Bay and they won a Super Bowl right off rip just by adding pieces to Tom Brady, because Tom Brady learned what the recipe was.
Yeah.
And it's not that's where what I think a lot of teams are losing focus on. Maybe it's just fans of teams that are losing focus on the fact that once you get the quarterback, you're set. No, I mean, there's a reason why the Chiefs are heading the direction they're in, because they do have that quarterback, but then you have to be able to build around him. And then he has to be so good that once you get those other pieces of your team playing to the level that they can, now he's got to inspire them to be able to be even greater than that. So
and the quarterback's got to make decisions for the team on what's best. Like, Brady was always notorious for taking less money to build the pieces around him. So with that being said, a great quarterback isn't the only answer. Let's pivot to this next team, the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. When is Staley going to get canned? It's been talked about week after week after week. They continue to not win football games. They're 4-7, despite, quote unquote, having one of the best young quarterbacks in the league.
I think it's Staley's time. I would, if the Chargers need to be getting rid of Staley before the Patriots get rid of Belichick. Like, if one of those two teams are in Belichick deserves at least one more year. If he wants to coach another year, he deserves one more year. Now, if they want to cut their ties and move on, that's great. But with the Chargers here, you're playing the same game. And well, here's the overwhelming issue for me is that, yes, Justin Herbert might be missing something. That it factor, he might not have that it factor, but it's hard to even bring to polish that factor up with going through coaching changes every single year. So either get rid of Staley and start anew, or
commit to it,
and let him get another year at Kellen Moore. But I don't know how you can commit to Staley what we've seen to this point, because it's one of those things where, all right, we're just going to give you the leash, we're going to give you more of the leash, and you're not doing anything different. And it's not like, okay, yes, you're aggressive on fourth down, but it's hurting more than it's helping us.
Yeah.
So we've got to figure out something different. Then, all right, it's excusable for you to lose to the Ravens. All right, the Ravens are one of the best teams. However, you've got one of the, as you put it, one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and either you're doing a terrible job at putting Herbert in a position late in games to win those ball games, or Herbert is just overrated when it comes to game on the line. He can't get it done.
And why do we always talk about the coach when there's many of people sitting up on an ivory tower pushing buttons left and right? Why are we always firing coaches?
Well, that's why your OCs and your DCs usually get canned first before the head coach, depending on the scenario, of course. But the owners and the GMs, they're the ones pulling these triggers.
Right.
But yeah, it's not the players, it's not the owners, it's always the coaches. The scapegoat. I mean, look at college football.
Just depends on how much money's wrapped up into that player.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. It's hard to get rid of the players because there's so much money tied up into them. One more guy, and then we can kick this over to the next hour. But what do you think about Brian Daboll? Obviously, made the playoffs last year with the Giants. Daniel Jones, kind of the resurgence of him. But then this year has just been falling off a cliff. Made the playoffs last year, 4-8 so far this year. Do you think they stick with Dable?
I don't know. They've won 2 straight, right? They beat the Patriots this past week.
They have won 2 straight, but they're still 4-8 on the season after making the playoffs last year.
I mean, they're trending up. I mean,
I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
keep Dable.
Hey, let's keep him going. Let's see if he can win out and keep his job for next year. But if he doesn't win out, he gone.
1 year,
yeah,
and done.
Yeah,
tough.
Right? What do you think?
Yeah, we got to go to a break. But I love Dable. I think he's a good football coach, but might not be the right fit in New York. All right, with that being said, we'll go ahead and take our break. When we get back, we'll have some afternoon delight. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Start your morning with sports updates, interviews, reactions, lively discussions, insights, and expert analysis.
I think in our lifetime, we will never see another undefeated team.
Join Evan, Canty, and Michelle weekday mornings from 5 to 7.
It will never happen again.
On the Sports Talk Monster.
If anyone deserves the benefit of the doubt for one last chance, it's Bill Belichick.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. For this afternoon and evening, clear and a high of 57 with wind 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the north. Clear skies tonight, a light wind and cool near 40. Mostly sunny and 58 tomorrow. 65 and some clouds with a gentle breeze Thursday. Friday, mostly clouds in the morning, followed by moderate rain and a temperature a little warmer at 72. This is your Tuesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Sports fans, we love our teams, but let's talk real estate for a moment. Meet Berg Title, your trusted local real estate title and escrow company. Based in downtown Panama City, Berg Title knows the community inside out. They handle everything from title searches to escrow services with expertise. Honest, reliable, and here to make your real estate journey smooth. Remember, it's Berg Title. Call them at 850-250-2900. That's Berg Title, your partner for a worry-free real estate experience in Panama City and Panama City Beach.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
With GSX Lynn Hayden, WVLQ Port St. John, ESPN Northwest Florida.
360-degree protection of your home, 365 days a year, one low monthly price.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control offers an affordable program that provides our customers with peace of mind. Brock 365.
We like bundling pest control with termite protection for a low monthly payment. We couldn't be happier with the results. Most treatments are done outside, and we haven't had any issues in over 3 years.
Call us today for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control.
And now the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
We're going to have a talk.
Tell me what you know. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's a frantic noise.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
Good afternoon. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Switching from the morning to the afternoon here in the Florida Panhandle. You can listen live and local on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast and in Port St. Joe. You can watch us on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. Head over to your either Google Play or Apple Store and type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Download that free mobile app. You can take us wherever you want. And if last but not least, you need to find us, go to ESPNPC.com. Click that Listen Live button. While you're there, hit that FHS TV, and you can do $42 a month for over, was it 4,000 channels a month, Jay, I think is what it is.
A lot of channels.
All the sports. So I don't know how you watch all that in one sitting, but you can certainly try.
ADHD.
Click. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It is.
Mr. Rogers. Mr. Henley, I should say.
Yes.
In that beautiful cardigan.
Thank you.
What's there at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street?
That'd be Bill Kramer GMC Chevy.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be a Chevy-only dealer until 2009. We found that out a couple of weeks ago.
Sure
and now
did.
they're a Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC. Of course, that's right there at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. We are inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Lots of new vehicles in stock. We were there. Tons of trucks, tons of SUVs, and they're all discounted right now. Go buy yourself
every one of them.
darn near every one of them. Hey, folks,
Yep, that's it.
Where's the best place to listen to the Inside Drive? Inside a brand new Chevy from Bill Kramer GM.
There you go.
They're all available. Buy yourself a Christmas present. Buy your friend a Christmas present. Buy your wife. Buy your husband. Buy your daughter. They need a truck. And while you're there, you can get yourself a boat from Kramer Marine and Outdoor. They got lots of new and used boats in stock, selling those Seaborn, Spiders, Suns, Ants, all part of that CRI family. And Jay's favorite boat,
the Skeeter boat.
The Skeeter boat.
Yep.
It's just one of those words you have to say like that.
I love it.
You don't have a choice. You can check out all their new and used inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com. They are a Yamaha outboard full-line dealer. They have a Yamaha Master Certified mechanic on staff. They can get you a full what, Jay?
Well, I just
our favorite word.
Repower.
There you go. Full repower if you need to get some new motors on the back of that boat.
Yes, sir.
They'll also come to you to service your boat right there on your dock, and they'll also sell your boat for you. Take out the hassle of trying to deal with Facebook Marketplace. Who's going to show up? Who's it going to be? Don't know who it is. Is it safe? Is it not safe? Kramer Marine and Outdoor will take care of all that. You're looking to get rid of a boat, maybe in your yard. What do you call them?
Yard ornament.
Yard ornament.
Yeah,
you're ready to get rid of it. They'll get it fixed up. They'll sell it for you. You don't even have to worry about it anymore. They'll just take a small percentage to get that done for you. Again, that's Kramer Marine and Outdoor at the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd Street. You can call them at 850-851-0453. You can call Bill Kramer GM at 850-250-1403. That was fun hanging out the studio. We got to get Ricky Barnes on.
Yes, we do.
How that experience. Ricky, if you're listening, give us a call, 850-215-6290. Want to hear about that experience down there in the swamp, FSU, Florida. All right, getting back to these coaches, Jay. Again, 7 to 10 coaches likely to go this year. We've already had 2. Don't forget, Josh McDaniels was fired from the Raiders earlier this year. And like David said, the interim coach is doing pretty well, I should say. Rick got fired from the Carolina Panthers, and then we mentioned Belichick, we mentioned Staley, and then at the end of there, I mentioned Brian Dable, 4-8. But you also have the Washington Commanders likely to miss the playoffs for the 3rd straight season under Ron Rivera. 3 seasons with Ron. Obviously, there's been some big-time changes with Dan Snyder being out, new ownership there with the Commanders. So, interesting to see what happens there. What about the Bears? The Bears are 3-8, and they're 6-22 under Matt Eberflus in 2 seasons.
That is such a roller coaster. I mean, we get Keith.
Is it a roller coaster, or is it just a down drop on the roller coaster?
It may
6-22.
I mean, think about Arthur Smith. I mean, everybody's talking about now. Everybody's talking about, well, maybe there's playoff potential. Oh, Arthur's good now. I mean, it's such
with
a
coaches,
with coaches.
I thought
in
you were
general.
referring directly to the Bears.
Yeah, well, and the Bears last night. It's like, we won a game and we're good.
I don't think anybody's thinking they're good.
You don't think so?
I don't know. What do you do with Justin Fields? You're going to have the number 1 pick from the Panthers most likely, and the number 4 or 5 pick. I can't remember exactly which one.
I don't know how many picks he threw last night, but I mean,
I don't think he threw any. I think Josh Dobbs threw 4.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then, of course, DJ Moore blows up there at the end of the game, and Liam lost his fantasy game that he was leading up until then, and DJ Moore just blew up, and that's going to have some playoff implications. That's for sure. I think you're right there in the one of them.
In the inside drive.
You're first in one of the divisions, I believe.
It's like a 3-way tie right now. And
2 more weeks in fantasy football to go before the playoffs start.
Okay. All right.
It's getting important now.
It is.
Now it's getting important. We'll talk to Keith Fleming tomorrow at noon, but it's getting important now to line up yourself for success. You got to make sure you got some good players on the bench. Maybe you're trying to take some players from other potential playoff teams and stick them on your bench so you can't. Now is the time. If you're going to make the playoffs, you got to set yourself up for the playoffs, that's for sure. And that's being very strategic.
Are you 11-0 in the Bay Point Baller League?
I think it might be 12.
Or 12. Oh, sorry.
But it doesn't matter. You win all 12 games, you get to the playoffs, your team does terrible, you're out. Just like that.
Yeah.
The only thing just like real NFL, the only thing the regular season matters for is getting to the playoffs.
True.
So, but we're playing well. I said the boys are playing well on the team, that's for sure. Having Hurts, McCaffrey, and I forget who my other guy was that scored a bunch of points. It was a good one.
Yeah,
it's worked out well in the keeper league. Somebody didn't keep Christian McCaffrey, so I was able to take him in the draft and pair him with Jalen Hurts.
It's a good.
It's a tough combo.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Matt Eberflus, and then the entire NFC South. Where do they live? And then the Arizona Cardinals are 2-10 under first-year head coach Jonathan Gannon. So lots of candidates that are not doing such great job. But that's the Cardinals. I mean, you bring in a new coach after 1 year, or do you let Jonathan Gannon try to get some stuff going? Obviously, they were missing Kyler Murray most of the year, looking a little bit better, but still not finding ways to win football games, that's for sure. It's very messy in the NFL coaching world this year, that's for sure.
Well, back to, and we've talked about this before, but what about Saban and Spurrier and these guys that's decided to go to the NFL for that brief moment and then they go back to college?
I think it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot. Well, and Harbaugh did the opposite. Harbaugh went from the NFL to back. I don't think he was in college before.
Do you think some of these NFL guys that were predicting to lose jobs, do you think they have, do they move down to the NCAA level with all the different?
That's a great question, and I don't know the answer. I don't really know. I'd have to really think about where some vacancies could be in college. But, yeah, that's certainly a lot of people will kind of get back into the college ranks and kind of reinvigorate their coaching ability and then potentially go back. But there's been a lot of coaches, Saban, like you mentioned. Who else did you mention besides Saban?
Spurrier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Small stints up there. It's just tough. It's a different ballgame. You got kids versus adults that are getting paid lots and lots and lots of money, and they have to buy into the culture. That's where I think on NFL teams, your leaders really lie in the players, the people, the guys in the locker room to lead the team and hold people accountable. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is holding people accountable. College football playoff rankings come out tonight, Jay. I think we know what it's going to be tonight. But here's we were talking a little bit about it yesterday, but a lot of scenarios that we can go through here real quick. Scenario 1, obviously I think the college football playoff, we can all agree tonight, is going to be Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State. So scenario 1, extremely straightforward. All those teams win this week, they're in. There's your playoffs. Nothing changes. Texas is right there on the outside at 12-1 if they win as well. Scenario 2, Georgia, Washington, FSU, Oklahoma State win. Then a lot of people, and this is where I'd love to get your feedback here as well, David. So Georgia, Washington, FSU, and Oklahoma State win. They're saying it's still Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State, but then Ohio State moves to that number 5 spot. I heard the guys talking this morning about how could you put Ohio State over Alabama's one loss to Texas, and I mean I don't know, it's tough. The Pac-12, I mean, I know those guys are not big Pac-12 fans, but Oregon in this whole scenario is they're a 9.5-point favorite against Washington in the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Especially when they lost the first game, but is Oregon that much better than Washington, Jay?
I don't know.
Guess we'll find out coming up this weekend. Scenario number 3, Georgia, Washington, Louisville, and Texas win. That could potentially put Georgia, Michigan, and Washington, same 3, but potentially moving Texas into that number 4 spot with Florida State losing in that one. Scenario, and Ohio State being that number 5 spot there. A lot of different scenarios. I think we do. David's texting me right now. We got Lynn Haven, Rob on the line. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm good, guys. How y'all doing? It is afternoon, so we can go with that, right?
Yeah, it is. We're 10 minutes into it right here in the Central Time Zone. Hopefully it'll continue to get a little warmer before tonight.
Well, and when the playoffs come out now, you still got the biggest games yet to go.
Oh, absolutely.
With all the different scenarios and stuff. But let me ask you this: when is the first playoff game not until December, till the first of the year? Isn't that correct?
Let me look at that schedule real quick because I don't know that off the top of my head.
I think they're playing in the major bowl games, and I think they're going to be the Christmas or New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
So the 2 playoff games. Let's see. The playoff semifinal. Yeah, both New Year's Day. One's at the Rose Bowl and then one's at the Sugar Bowl, like we talked about yesterday. So yeah, both on New Year's Day. Where you've got is this the first year it's on New Year's Day? They've always been seems like before the.
Yeah, they've been on New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that'll be good, yeah. But yeah, both on January 1st. One at 4 p.m. Central Time. One at 7:45 Central Time.
Yeah, well, the reason I say that is because it gives and like you said, the first scenario, Florida State has to play Georgia. That gives them, a month to prep and make a game plan. And then you're, just a regular normal week to figure out who you're playing, for the second game.
Yep.
So,
Well, and let me ask you this when you bring that up. Would you rather, next year we're going to the 12-team playoff, so games are going to happen quicker than they ever would as far as playoffs are concerned. Would you rather have more time to game plan and get healthier, or would you, if you're playing good football, would you rather just keep playing good football? It's kind of the old same scenario we talked about in baseball when the playoffs were going on. Do you want that bye week, or do you? And now football is a completely different story because of injuries.
Well, to me, the way they I've heard different scenarios there again. And I don't know that they really hammered it out. But if you're the number one team, say if you're Georgia or the top 4 teams, and then you've got that bye, well, guess what? You've lost a home game. Your schools, your community, everybody has lost a home game, correct?
Yeah.
And so therefore, if you're 4, 5, 6, what would it be 5, 6, 7, and 8, they get a home game.
They'd all be hosting,
against everybody. Correct. And then so after that, I think they said that then they would be playing at neutral sites when they got it down to the 8 teams, correct?
Yeah, that's what they put out there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that was what I was saying. So really, you're putting the school that's got the bye week at a major financial disadvantage.
For sure.
I would think.
Yeah,
Unless you're just throwing all the money in the pot and you get a cut regardless of what happens in the first round.
Yeah,
everybody gets divided up. So it kind of, it's a two-edged sword. Yeah, you want to get that rest week, but if they're going to play it the next week and then you're laid off 3 weeks, well, what does that kind of really matter?
Yeah.
But then if you've got the top 12 teams, say if you're the second team, just like say next week we're playing the conference championship games. Well, guess what? If you're not in that conference championship game, then you get a bye week already.
There's going to be and a lot of teams most likely will enjoy that, or however that plays out.
So
yeah, great point.
You probably have about 6 teams that are going to get a bye week that first week, unless they do away with the conference championships. And I'm not sure that the conference want to do that.
No, I don't think so, especially with all the different with the realignment and now getting rid of the divisions and the conferences where the top 2 teams will be playing each other for that conference championship, and likely those teams will be going to the playoffs as well.
Well, right. Do you think Atlanta's going to let the SEC walk away from that long-term contract they got to play that game in Atlanta, and then you've got the game that's going to be, where is it, Raleigh, or it's in North Carolina somewhere. Charlotte, ACC, and then you've got all the big cities have bid for years on these conference championship games. Now you're just going to say, we're not going to have our conference championship game anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be wild going from this year to next year with so many changes and different stuff. But what do you think about FSU? What do you think about their chances, not only just getting to the playoff, but if they get to the playoff, what do you think?
Well, I think watching Louisville last week, I think Louisville is very beatable, by FSU's defense. And if FSU has to play Georgia the first week, right now Georgia's, I think unbeatable. Now, FSU's defense is good, but Watermaker I just don't know up against a Kirby Smart defense that he's going to be able to do what he can do. Now, if they're lucky enough to get number 3, then you play probably Michigan. So Michigan may not be able to throw the ball. So if you can come up and stop their run, then that's a favorable position for whoever's in that third spot, I think.
I can't remember, since the college football playoff has been around, the week of championship weekend with all these conference champions, I can't remember this many scenarios that could potentially happen based on who wins and loses this weekend. I just don't remember this much parity, and I could be wrong, but you agree with that, Rob or Jay?
Oh, no doubt. I would, but it's all, my thing has always been, look, they can do, all we're doing right now is making talk radio shows, because until next week, it really don't matter.
All speculation, that is for sure.
Right. Just think what a wrench it would have been, what it's going to be if Alabama beats Georgia, what that's going to do, to me. But
Well, in one of those scenarios, this is a wild one here. This is from The Athletic, looking at 16 different scenarios. Here's 4 teams that win. Alabama beats Georgia, Washington beats Oregon, Florida State beats Louisville, and Texas beats, is it Oklahoma State in the Big 12? Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship. They're predicting Michigan, Washington, Alabama, Florida State, and Georgia at that number 5 spot with 1 loss to Alabama in the conference championship. Do you think Georgia, with 1 loss in the conference championship to Alabama, should be knocked out of those the top 4?
Well, here's my thing.
And again, it's all speculation, and it just makes us something fun to talk about.
Right, but the way you're talking about it, is FSU not the only undefeated team in the country then? Are they number 1?
No, Michigan would be 13-0, Washington would be 13-0, and Florida State would be 13-0.
You're right. You're right. Well, what's going to happen if Oregon beats Washington? Then they're both 1-1, and didn't Washington beat Oregon the first time around?
Yeah, on that crazy, stupid call by Dan Lanning. I think if whoever wins the Pac-12, I think there's a couple guarantees. Whoever wins the Pac-12, they're in. And if Florida State wins the ACC championship, they're in. The Alabama-Georgia one may have some gray. It just depends on what the other teams do. But I think the 2 guaranteed scenarios are, well, let me throw Michigan in there, too, because if they lose to Iowa, that's
Michigan's
a joke.
A guarantee.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Michigan's, a guarantee. So really, the whoever wins the SEC is going to be the deciding factor of how all the rest of it falls together.
Yeah. Absolutely. Interesting.
Yeah, we just don't, from a football fan standpoint, we just don't want to see a Georgia TCU game again where it was over at halftime last year. The 2 best teams did not play in the national championship game.
Okay, Coach Hale.
What?
The 2 best teams didn't play.
I don't think
got
they
there,
did.
though. They won the game to get there.
But I think
if
that's...
if you remember back in the first championship series where Florida State ended up playing Oregon, Oregon just demolished FSU that game, and that wasn't a very good game. And how many of the first round games have been really
competitive,
what you would call good games?
Probably the best one was the what was it, Ohio State, and who they played Georgia in the national championship last year, but who did they play prior to that one?
Ohio State, Georgia?
No, that was the semifinal game. That was a fantastic semifinal game. Guy missed a kick to go to the Natty.
Ohio State, Alabama, 2014 was pretty good.
Yep.
But Georgia, Oklahoma.
Oh, that was the wild shootout.
I did want to throw this out there just for giggles. Waterbaker was not the first backup quarterback to beat Florida. Back in 1998, and I can't remember his name right now, but they called him Rooster. Winky got hurt in the last ACC game, and then I can't Marcus. It starts with M, but anyway,
Marcus
yes. And then he went in and beat Florida, and then lost to Tennessee in the national championship game.
Yeah, we got
to
jump on a break. One more quick point on Rodemaker. There's not a ton of film on him. He goes down to a very hostile environment in Florida, gets the dub, doesn't look fantastic, but who really would have looked fantastic in that scenario? So does that give him confidence going into this ACC championship and beyond? I don't know if you can't ask for a better scenario, essentially. What do you think?
I think he's a better passer but I think you're absolutely right. Now he's going into an environment where he's at least over 50%, FSU fans. And so I don't know how well Louisville travels. I'm sure being up there, they'll have a lot of people there. But I think another week of practice, him getting the full practice in and everything else, because he's got some experience now of being under the gun.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, we appreciate your phone call, and if we talk to you before the end of the week, if not, go Noles. Hopefully they get the dub against Louisville. We appreciate you very much.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, man.
You guys are listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
104.3 ESPN is above the rim. Exciting college basketball is back. Tune in every Saturday for the biggest games in college basketball, plus marquee evening matchups during the week. The Round Ball.
And it goes for the win!
You want it. You need it. And we've got it. College basketball plays here. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Tuesday's weather forecast. Clear the rest of the day with temps near 57 and a wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies tonight, a light wind and a temperature of 40. About the same tomorrow, around 58 with mostly sunshine and a wind out of the north-northeast around 7 miles per hour. Quite warm with a high around 65 and partly cloudy Thursday. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumberyard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
The only place to get sports betting coverage on the radio. Is this legal? Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Chicken.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Chance to make the college football playoff percentages, according to one of the many predictors and all that stuff. Right now, Michigan's got a 95% of making the playoff. A lot of this has to do with their opponents and all that. Georgia has an 84% chance of making the playoffs. Florida State with a 69% chance of making the playoffs. Oregon with a 53% chance of making the playoffs. Ohio State with a 52% chance of making the playoffs. Washington 26, Texas 11, and Alabama 9. Like I was saying, 16 scenarios there. Jay Henley, not that this really measures the power of the conference, but Power 5 bowl eligibility. Which conference out of the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, or Pac-12 has the highest percentage of teams in their conference making the playoffs? 11 out of 14.
I got to go SEC, but I got a feeling that you're about to say no.
No, I'm about to say no, but that's a good feeling. David, what do you think?
So it's not the SEC?
It's not the SEC. The SEC currently has 9 out of 14 teams that are bowl eligible, 64% of their conference. They are tied for third.
And it is one of the Power 5 conferences?
It's ACC, Pac-12.
So it's ACC then?
Yep, ACC, 79%, 11 out of the 14 teams are bowl eligible to make the playoffs. Number 2, it's 67%. Who do you think that is?
SEC.
Dang. I just said they were tied for third.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Listening.
Yeah, Pac-12.
Yes, Pac-12, 67%. 8 out of the 12 teams are bowl eligible. Washington, Oregon, Utah, Arizona, Oregon State, SC, UCLA, and Cal. The Big 12, the SEC, and the Big 10 all have 9 out of the 14 teams bowl eligible, 64% of the conferences.
So who do we got here? Vanderbilt. We got Florida, probably Arkansas.
Yep.
And Vanderbilt, Florida, Arkansas. The other one, South Carolina.
South Carolina. One more.
Oh, there's one more?
There's 14. There's 9 that made it.
Okay, gotcha.
Mississippi State.
Yep.
Bingo.
That is. All right, out of there. You out of there.
Yeah, Georgia, Bama, LSU, Missouri, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee all bowling. Michigan with 9 of 14 as well. Michigan, Big Ten with 9 of 14 as well.
They representing them.
There you go. And that means nothing. It doesn't mean your conference is better than. It just means overall you've got a better bowl percentage eligibility.
We beat each other in the SEC. We beat each other up all year. So I mean,
you guys haven't lost an SEC conference game in 3 years,
right? But I'm just saying, SEC as a whole, we beat each other up. And,
sure.
And that 4 or 5 got to go, and they went.
I think all conferences are are at that point. I mean,
There's
we're on such
probably
a level playing field.
There's probably a cap, like that 79, 80% is probably the most you could have anyway based on conference schedules, like you were saying.
Right.
So it's a little skewed, but something that we got you to talk about.
So that 9% of Alabama making it, let's just say, and I'm a big Georgia fan, but let's just say Alabama beats Georgia.
I got a predictor over here, so predict whatever you want. And
oh, do you?
Yeah.
All right, so let's say Alabama beats Georgia
All right.
56-3.
Okay, it doesn't go that detailed, but
okay, all right.
I could pick Alabama to win.
I got you. Yeah, all right. So pick
Bama
Alabama
wins.
to
Who
win.
wins out of FSU and Louisville?
All right,
Florida State.
Florida State, Iowa, Michigan.
Michigan.
Texas, Oklahoma State.
Texas.
Oregon, Washington.
Oregon.
All right, so your teams with that situation is going to be Michigan as your number 1 seed, Florida State as your 2 seed, Oregon as your 3 seed, Texas as your 4 seed, and Alabama, even with a win over Georgia, would be sitting on the outside looking in.
Gotcha.
All right, let's toy with that.
All right.
Let's so we had Bama, we had Oregon, we had Florida State, and we had Texas, right? And then, of course, Michigan winning. I'd leave Michigan winning because they're going to end up winning. There's no doubt in that one. Let's say Louisville wins.
All right.
Washington wins, and Oklahoma State wins.
All right.
With
so
Alabama beating Alabama and Michigan win, then Washington, Washington, Louisville, and Oklahoma State.
Number 1 is going to be Michigan. Number 2 is going to be Washington. Number 3 is going to be Alabama. And number 4 is going to be Georgia.
Ooh.
Wow, I love that.
So you'd have Michigan, Georgia, and then you'd have Washington and Alabama.
Yeah.
That's a wild one.
Yeah, and Alabama's played Washington in the college football playoff before.
And destroyed them.
And it would probably, who knows how it would go.
Well,
Who knows how
the
it
game
would
it did, they destroyed them. Yes.
No, that's what I was going to say. They'll
Yeah.
probably do that again, but who knows how
So
it
what's
would
your
go.
percentage of that happening? Is there a percentage of that happening?
Yes, it is less than 1%.
Oh, so there's a chance.
There's always a chance. I don't think it can be 0%.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done any that's led me to Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan.
I don't think, it's probably not possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Maybe not that.
But you got human beings making the decisions.
That is true. It is not calculated by AI or a computer. Yeah, interesting one. I like doing this, but like Alabama, Oregon, Louisville, and Texas win. They got Michigan, Bama, Oregon, and Texas. Georgia just on the outside. Let me ask you this, gentlemen. Do you think, regardless of who the top 4 ends up being, do you think it'll be one of the more competitive college football playoffs than we've had in a while, or do you think it's going to be par for the course and somebody's going to blow out somebody?
I think it's going to be a blowout, and I think they have to solidify moving into more of a bigger bracket, and so that's my conspiracy. That's my conspiracy on it.
Well, it's not a conspiracy because it's happening. Or is that actually what happens with the conspiracy series?
Yeah, right.
Depends on what we're talking about, I guess. But so who does the blowing out?
I say let's go Georgia and Washington, and Georgia just crushes them.
I think Florida State or Washington at this point could be blown out by a Michigan or a Georgia.
Yeah.
I think Alabama's on par with everyone, meaning that they could play with anyone, but I don't know if Bama would blow out Washington. I think Georgia has the capability. Georgia has the capability of blowing out every single one of them. Michigan has they have the ability to beat every single one of them. I don't think that you're going to see Michigan, through no fault of their own, it's just the brand of football that they play, go out and blow anyone out. Now, can they? Yes. But do they need to? They've got one goal in mind. The reason why all of these juniors came back to play their senior season here for Coach Harbaugh is because they love each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
they got a chip on their shoulder.
Exactly.
More so than ever. See, I know people hate the Pac-12, and I know a lot of Georgia people absolutely hate Oregon. But if there's one team that got in there that I think could have a shot to compete and win, I think it's Oregon, just based on the brand of football they play. They can go vertical, they can go quick, and they have a decent enough defense to slow some of these teams down. I don't think Washington is that same team. I think Washington has more of a potential of getting blown out, but I think if Oregon wins like they should in the Pac-12 championship, I think that's a dangerous team in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I think an incredible matchup. Obviously, Georgia-Michigan would be good.
Yeah.
Like as an opener. And here's the thing is, until we see what these matchups are gonna be, it'll be hard. It'll be hard to talk about blowouts and whatnot.
But that's the matchup we wanted last year in the Natty.
But Michigan and Oregon would be fun to watch just because of the two different dynamics, right? Run the ball, heavy defense. Oregon's got a heavy defense too, but they can also play a finesse style of defense. Whereas, like you said, every point of attack that is possible, the Oregon Ducks will proceed to do that. Whereas Michigan is going to be run the ball. But when we need to, we're going to be very accurate with J.J. McCarthy.
And their tight ends, That's where they in the passing game, they certainly open up that middle of the field when it comes to their stout tight ends that they have.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I was just thinking about just the electricity of Saturday night, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Georgia, Alabama. I was fortunate enough to be there at that 18 SEC championship game. Went to but we were winning at half. I think it was 16-12.
Was it second and 23?
Something like that, yeah. But
national championship or SEC?
SEC championship, and
that was the national championship. Yeah, my bad.
Just the electricity. And I know Coach Hale saying that he's going to be there this Saturday. It's amazing. Yeah, it is amazing.
It's why college football is the greatest sport in the world,
no doubt.
From that aspect,
yeah.
From fandom and money, it's a little different.
True.
But a lot of different scenarios out there. We will certainly find out. And that Oregon-Washington game will be right here on ESPN Northwest Florida Friday night. I love they thrown in a Friday night game for that. It's just exciting.
Yeah, we'll have the Friday night game, which the Pac-12 championship has been on Friday.
It has,
for a little while.
It has.
Las Saturday Vegas, right? We'll have I believe it is in Vegas, which brings a whole nother element to it. I mean, because last year it was Caleb Williams painting his fingernails with the Forget Utah and all that stuff, and now this year Caleb Williams ain't even playing in this game. This is all Oregon, Washington. Yep. But this is gonna be a big week. For what we have on the radio though, then Saturday we're gonna have the Big 12 championship. Then we'll transition into the Big 10 to the SEC championship rather, and then we'll go to the ACC championship with Florida State and Louisville.
There you go. A lot of great football coming up. Yeah, it's kind of wild. I keep talking about the Pac-12, but this is the last ever Pac-12 championship game in the conference's history.
And they're getting someone in. They're like 100% getting someone in.
They've got a team going to the playoff, that's for sure. A college football, but like you just said, is on the line for these two. It's a rematch of that October 14th game. And then arguably you could say whoever wins this game too is going to win the Heisman. All Friday night in Las Vegas, Jay.
Man, it sounds amazing.
It's going to be a great time.
A lot of bright lights, neon lights.
On the Strip?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You been to Vegas?
Years. It's been 20 years since I've been to Vegas.
20 years?
20 years.
Man.
But a lot has changed from what I heard out there.
Most likely, 20 years ago right here, it's changed a lot too.
Yes, it has. But I'd like to make it out there. When's the last time you've been to Vegas?
Not 20 years, but close.
Really?
Yeah. Right after I turned 21. I think I went one more year after that, and I haven't been back since.
I was there the weekend that the tiger ate the guy.
Oh, no, Siegfried and Roy?
Yes.
You've always been places when these wild stuff happens. Remind me not to ever travel with you.
Right.
Unless something crazy happens.
Yeah.
Man. That's what happens. They're tigers.
Siegfried was tiger bait.
Tiger bait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or was it Roy? I can't remember.
I do not know off the top of my head who got attacked by the tiger, whether it was Siegfried and Roy or Roy.
But I do want to catch one of those shows out there. It'd be amazing to go see some of those crazy shows.
They're like $1 billion a piece, but
yeah.
You talking about like the Cirque du Soleil show, or are you talking about the shoe show?
No, yeah, Cirque du
Soleil.
Yeah, du Soleil. Yeah.
They're expensive. Everything's expensive in Vegas, though.
Which is it? The Hangover? Is that when they're in their The Hangover? They went to a show and then all of a sudden, like, the animals were trying to eat.
No. That was Paul Rudd and those guys. What movie was that? When he gets knocked up. It's Knocked Up. They go to Vegas and they eat the shrooms.
Oh,
and
yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great one.
Yeah. They're freaking out. Yeah, that was good. Those guys together are just good stuff.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. And Keith was just out of Vegas. He was telling us all about the Sphere, and I'd love to see that in person. That would be cool.
Yeah, I saw the video he sent. Did you see the video?
Yeah.
They probably, they probably allow that.
Right before the show goes on, they're like, please, no motion picture photography or flash. Do not use your camera. Keith's up there going like this.
Yeah.
But also, you can't do it any justice with the pictures on that one.
Right. We'll have to go to Vegas.
I'm not going with you.
Why not?
That's for sure.
Why?
Because crazy things happen when you go places. You've been at all these events when wild things happen. Coach Whitworth is on the line. Coach, who's making the college football playoff?
I try not to think about it because I've got my own pocketbook prejudice picks for an alliteration worthy of the Reverend Jackson. Pocketbook prejudice picks. Florida State, Georgia, Michigan, and let's see, Texas, which I'm not going to be satisfied, and I won't win thousands, which would have financed a trip to see y'all.
There you go.
During the holidays. I want to talk a little bit of entertainment and sports about a guy who's used to be a single-digit handicapper, and then he wasn't. He had paralysis by analysis and too much weight, and now he's back in single digits, and that's the former round mound of rebound, and we called him the bread truck back in the day when he was at Auburn, Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Oh. Charles is going to have a new TV show with Miss King. Ooh. And people don't know, but she has Alabama connections. She's not from Bullock and Pike County, Troy and Union Springs, but her people were. And I just hope Charles doesn't end up like Joe Scarborough, former Escambia County conservative who went on TV and fell in love with his co-host and turned his back on everything that was pure in his life. That's a joke. You can laugh about it. I'm a middle of the roader, actually. I pick on Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
There you go.
But I like Bill Clinton and I like Melania Trump, but who doesn't? Anyway, what do y'all think of what's going to transpire this evening? It's next. Are they having one this evening, or are they waiting on next Sunday?
The college football playoff?
The rating.
Yeah, they got another one, but I think everybody knows who it's going to be. I mean, it's pretty much set in stone.
Well, you tell me who it's going to be. Break my heart.
Well, this one really doesn't matter. It's gonna be the way we went going into it. It's going to be Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State, and that'll all get sorted out. And if they all win this weekend coming up, then that'll be the top four going into the playoff. Well,
thank you. I was griping about Ohio State this morning on the other highly rated and respected talk show. I just think that now when LSU was beaten by Alabama years ago in a BCS game, they were the best teams in the country, and I didn't have a problem with Alabama sitting out, not being a conference champion. But Ohio State is not to be mentioned in the same breath. I mean, the game was closer than. I mean, they had a backup coach. He's good. He's in for a hire. He's going to be playing deep into the playoffs. But I'll leave it with this, and I'll tell you how I feel. This has to do with stolen signals and the military, which I love all that. But in the Battle of Midway, Bull Halsey was in the hospital in Hawaii, and we stole signals from the Japanese. Now, are we going to get that victory back? I don't think so. I think a little differently. I think I'm not in a box, okay? I think way outside of it. But I can't wait till next year. I mean, that's when it'll be right. And the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big whatever they are, 12, and the ACC champions should get bids, automatic buy bids into the playoffs, and then let everything else be at large.
Yeah, next year.
Love you guys. I'm going to say goodbye. Keep it in the short grass always.
Yes, sir.
Jay, give us your line.
If you don't hit it there, kick it over there to it. Now, don't cheat in golf. You can cheat in anything else, but do not cheat at golf.
Keep it in the fairway. See you on the next tee, Coach.
That's right. Bye now.
There you go. Coach Whitworth, yeah, I mean, next year, certainly everything is going to be sorted out with 12 teams. Then we'll be arguing who should be the 12th team.
Right.
And that's just how it works. You're listening to The Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back with some contenders and pretenders in the NFL, Jay. Interesting to hear what you'll have to say.
Take ESPN Northwest Florida with you everywhere you go.
Anytime, anyplace, anywhere.
The Sports Talk and live play-by-play doesn't have to end when you get out of the car. The ESPN Northwest Florida app streams your favorite Sports Talk hosts and the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity.
This is of utmost importance in travel.
Take the Sports Talk monster with you anywhere you go. Available for Android and iPhone.
Use it anywhere or any place.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
The sounds of is everywhere, and the cooler weather is back a little now and then. So that means it's time for a trip to that boot store to outfit the whole family in their favorite Western wear for that colder weather on the way. And if you need quality work clothes, check out the large selection of Carhartt work clothes, boots, and shoes available at that boot store, open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5, and Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30, next to Billboard Kia, 15th Street in Panama City. Remember, God is good all the time.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions, your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is how we do it. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. A little blustery Tuesday out there, but Team Dynasty hits the field tonight. Coach DJ Davey Crockett on the defensive coordination. We'll see how the boys and girls look this evening. It's going to be cold, so who can persevere? But we do have a caller on the line, and it's that SEC homer there, Mr. Coach Hale. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. I thought that was Jay in there. I called David just to make sure, but hey, Ron, I love what y'all were doing about the playoffs and everything, but I wanted to ask Jay, when you went to Atlanta, the SEC championship game, did you buy those parking tickets right there, or did you find your own parking?
Yeah, we did the own parking. Got there really early, and everybody was lined out the gate 2-3 hours before game time. But I parked probably about a mile away and just meandered my way through downtown.
That sounds 100% right.
Is that the SEC? You go on the SEC ticket parkings for the game. That's where that's what I'm asking about. Is that the ones you got?
No, I just randomly found a hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
What he's not telling you about this story is after the game, he found out his car was towed, and he had to go find where it was. That's the moral of this story, because he didn't park in the
lot. Okay. That answers my next question. I'm buying it. I'm going to use the SEC parking ticket. Thank you, Ryan. You saved me. Thank God.
I mean, I could visualize that happening.
I just think this is going to be a very epic game. I really do. I don't know why. I think this is going to be great. I don't know what time kickoff is, but I'm excited.
Epic, but you don't know what time kickoff is.
It's still early in the week, Ryan.
That's true. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
3 o'clock Central Time on CBS.
There you go.
Now, here's the deal. I know this for a fact. Alabama, they won't admit it, but all they have talked about, winter workouts, summer workouts, fall camp, they focused. That's who they wanted. They wanted an opportunity to get Georgia. They got it. They're going to show up and play probably the best that game they played. But do they have enough to beat that Georgia football team? And I just don't know they have enough talent to get it done.
Right.
It's going to come down to Milroe. There's no doubt. If he can play a great football game and they can't contain him, Auburn was not containing him until they started running that spy, and that kind of changed the game a little bit there for sure. But what are you looking forward to the most about going to this SEC championship game?
Just like I heard y'all earlier talking about it. Just if you've been to these, I've been to national championship games. I went to Alabama, Miami back in '92 or '3, whatever year it was. It's crazy. You could feel it in the air. I've been to other LSU, Alabama games, stuff like that, but I've never been to Georgia, Alabama, and Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I've been to the Alabama-Georgia game before, but never in Atlanta. So I'm just looking forward to that. Like Jay talked about, you know it's going to be crazy, and I'm looking forward to that. Really, I mean, I love Kirby. Yeah. But, you know, I still want Alabama to win.
Yeah,
I love Alabama. Grew up doing that, you know.
Well, it's like me, Coach. I grew up going to a bunch of Auburn games, but I wasn't fortunate enough to go to any of the big games. I always went to, like, the Fresno State games, whatever it may be. And
you're always throwing Fresno State under the bus. The Bulldogs out there.
Yeah, but whatever.
I get it.
But, you know, fast forward to, you know, as an adult and getting to go. Georgia lost in 18 to Alabama, as we all know. But I walked out of that stadium, like, I was like, did Georgia lose? Or, I mean, like, I didn't care.
Because the experience was
Because the experience was amazing. Yeah.
Right.
Did I hear y'all say that?
They got all those fan days. You know, they got all that stuff going on around there. I'm going to go to the, I don't know, Friday or Saturday, I'm going to go to the Hall of Fame. I like going to that Hall of Fame place.
That's one of the coolest places, that's for sure. It's got to be wild during a championship weekend.
Ooh. Yeah.
All the people. It really is. Where did you grow up at?
Yeah, I grew up in Griffin, just south of Atlanta.
Class of 98.
Class of 98, yeah, we talk about it a lot on the show.
Lowest SAT scores in the country that year. That is fact. I hate to keep bringing it up, but it's a great statistic.
It is. And
when we were kids, we would drive, in high school, we would drive, a bunch of us get in a car, we'd drive to Auburn, watch them play like Georgia Tech. Not a huge game, but a game that you could afford the tickets. And that was a big, we loved that. I was an Alabama fan, but half the family was for Auburn, so we'd go and we had a blast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, those are great memories for me, for sure. But
Coach, did I hear
Ryan missed out on all that. Ryan missed out on all that stuff.
He did. He did.
I turned out okay.
He's like a good old Southern boy because he coaches, he does everything. I love him to death, and he is a Southerner now.
Oh,
we got that Yankee stuff out of him.
He is.
I never really had it in me. I've been around too many places, but I've been to the South the longest. So, SEC football, although I'm still trying to throw that Pac-12 wrinkle in there. Did you guys say this morning Georgia has never beat Alabama in the Dome?
Never. Ever. Saban had never lost to, I don't know if even Saban's lost in that stadium. I don't think he has in that one.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's historical.
I'm going to say, listen, as good as Georgia is, I'm telling you, Alabama's they're going to play hard, man. I'm telling you.
They are. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm just not sure they're good enough to get it done. And I like what David had to say, too. I was listening to you guys talk about all those things that possibly could happen. Y'all did a good job. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and it all means nothing until these games are played this weekend. But next Monday there'll be some wild scenarios to talk about. That is for sure. But yeah,
well, y'all have fun. Y'all do a great job. Thank you for taking my call.
No, we appreciate you giving us a call. We love listening to you. That's Coach James Hale every morning, Monday through Friday. Probably not this Friday. I'm guessing he's going up to the SEC championship. Probably Brian Haddad will be filling in for him. But Coach,
Jason or Brian Wood, yeah.
There you go. There you go.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Ryan.
There you go. I'll even say it for you. Roll Tide, Coach.
Roll Tide. Bye-bye.
There you go. I'm not saying it ever again. That's my last time.
Yeah, Row Tide.
I heard a lot. Row. Why'd you say row? Oh, yeah, you're a Georgia guy. Anyway, some wild scenarios. That'd be a fun game to go to, no doubt.
Oh, man. Oh, just fantastic.
He's asking you for parking advice, and you're like, I don't know. I just found a parking spot in Parks and walked to the game. What do you want me to tell you? Just find a spot. There's 2 white lines. Don't park in a blue spot. You're good to go.
Yeah. The parking is so just wonky around there. I mean, I just can't even explain it to you. I mean, it's, you just hope to find a spot somewhere and, just follow the dome. That's kind of
for the dome and find it.
Just follow the dome.
Was that Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's been that long since it's been around?
I think it was like either the first or second year. But, just walking in that place as a 38-year-old, man, I was like a kid in a candy store.
Domes are cool.
Oh, my gosh. It looked like its own little city. I mean, that's what it looked.
It really is.
Yeah. But
that's a big one coming up.
You put clouds up in the top and it'd probably bring rain to it or something. I don't know.
There you go. That's something Mr. Rogers would say.
I knew that was coming from you.
See, you knew. You knew.
Make-believe world.
Make-believe world. just be a neighbor. You're just trying to make everybody nice, that's all. Here's the thing. No one can get mad at you while you're wearing that sweater.
They can't. There's no way.
No,
they can't.
It's just impossible. I mean, like, you could have just did something horrible, and I wouldn't be upset because I'd look at you in the sweater and go, I can't be mean to this guy.
Where do you think? Yeah, where do you think I belong? Out, besides in a radio studio with wearing this right here,
greeting someone at a shoe store.
Yes,
nice.
Helping people fit into tuxes. At a shoe store or a men's clothing store, men's warehouse.
Yeah, it's cashmere.
Is it though?
No, it's fat. Fake mirror.
I got pig fat on me. Touch it jiggles.
There you go. But it keeps you warm, and that's the key.
It does. Yeah.
We've gotten away from the sweaters in the golf business.
Oh, really?
Certainly. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Have you been in the golf shop lately? It's all pullovers and jackets and hoodies now. You don't see the sweaters anymore. Whereas 30 years ago, all you wore was a sweater.
Well, they might still be wearing the sweater. It's just not visible because
it's an underlayer.
Yeah.
Or a layer. It's not an underlayer.
So this is a 90s look, you think? Or maybe early 2000s?
I think the only thing that you're missing is that the collar should be
outside of the sweater.
Outside of the
It's
sweater.
tough when you got the V-neck, though. If you had the crew neck, it'd be really easy to... Look, I loved a good sweater in my day.
Yeah.
I had to get rid of a lot of them because I can't pull that off like you can.
Am I pulling it off?
Oh, yeah, you're pulling it off. You got the Mr. Rogers look. You're making everybody feel better.
Good. That's what I'm here for.
You can next time I get a upset phone call, I'm just going to forward it to you, and then you got to tell them what you're wearing before they talk to you.
FaceTime me, please.
Yes,
FaceTime.
I got to do this as a FaceTime.
We'll go a totally different direction.
It's one way to flip it.
Well, it's like I've heard a wise man say before: you have arrived in life when you can step on somebody's shoes without step on somebody's toes without scuffing their shoes.
There's the
Dude,
We've been waiting for one.
There you go.
We've been waiting for. See, if we weren't talking about your sweater, we wouldn't have got to this Jayism.
Right. But a lot of that's not happening in the world today, it seems.
No, but it should.
But it should.
But if you are able to step on somebody's shoe without scuffing it,
yes,
then you're living a good life.
You're living a good life.
Congratulations to you, Jay Henley. Because I think that's fair.
I think so, too. I mean, we don't know what...
And the whole moral of that saying is what?
The whole moral of that is... you don't know what everybody else is going through in life.
Fair, yeah.
And, but,
And I think it's, ease up. Like, if somebody does something you don't like, you don't have to attack them for it.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what the saying means. Like, I can step on your shoe, I've messed up your shoe, but it's not a big deal. Everybody's so quick to be critical nowadays.
Yeah, and look, let's throw it
chill
back.
out.
Yeah, and let's go back to Georgia, Alabama, right?
Won't you be my neighbor?
This football game Saturday, it will be fun to watch. It'll be entertaining. But to hear the stories of the fighting and I'm never going to talk to him again. Come on. Let's be honest, right? They're 21-year-old guys running around a football field. I mean, it's going to be entertaining, but
I just got the guy who divorced
the Falcons
for the Bills.
Josh Allen. Richard Sanders just sent me a text. He is also from Griffin, Georgia.
How about that?
He's not class of 98, though, I can tell you that.
Okay.
But so we'll have to find out what he did, what their class score was.
Oh,
I hate to harp on 98 Griffin, but...
Yeah, we just need to do a rundown of
we got to get Junebug on the phone, man.
I've been waiting.
I know.
Mama June. She's a celebrity. You went to school with her.
I did.
Y'all dated, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's for another day.
Little fling? Like you and Joanna?
Hey, she went from not to hot, man.
Well, she's cold right now. That's for sure. 74 for Richard.
Okay, I got you.
Richard Sanders. He's moved on to a bigger position, but he's always been the director of sports and events for Visit Panama City Beach.
Oh,
awesome guy. Does a lot of good stuff for the Snowbirds.
Yeah,
and we appreciate his support over the years at Bay Point. We appreciate to listen to the show as well. But he's also from Griffin.
Richard knows there's a lot of great athletes that come out of Griffin. And,
I'm still waiting for you to do that.
We'll do that this week.
To go somewhere else, do some research, and then bring it to the show and talk about it.
And we're, 7 months in, and I haven't done it yet? Is that?
I don't know if we're 7 yet. We started May 1st.
Okay.
We're about to end November.
Yeah.
What's that, 6?
6.
Yeah.
So. It doesn't take that long.
David just did it. Magical.
It is.
But we're not going to talk about it because we got to save it for another day. That's for sure.
I'm just glad a Griffinite is listening. Richard Sanders.
The Griffinite.
Griffinite.
You guys have shirts that say that?
Yeah, Griffinite.
If you don't, and you got to do that when you say it.
That's it, Griffinite.
Griffinite.
Yeah. Great and growing.
Great and growing.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate? 98?
98, yeah.
So Ben Talley?
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up one that played in the time that he was there.
Yeah.
And there's actually kind of a few of them that you had. That was because, so you started in what, 95?
5, yeah.
Yeah, so y'all had quite a few guys going to the league.
It'd be nice if we could talk about it one time and not have David have to do the research.
Sneaky.
You just go on the old Google machine and type athletes from Griffin High. Boom.
Yeah.
Pops up.
And we had, oh gosh, I'm going to forget his name.
It's okay. We only got a minute left.
South Walton football coach. I can't remember his name.
The OC.
OC.
Dave Roberts?
Yes.
Bingo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had him on.
Yeah,
And,
I saw
he knows.
He just posted his son's over there at South Florida, wide receiver.
Yep.
They just posted they were there. They're bowl eligible. They got 6 wins, so they were excited. Saw him down there at school stuff. We need to get him back on the line. It was a great interview.
That was a good one.
Stuff. That's
That
for
was
sure.
very good.
But afternoon underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. Right after that will be Dynasty versus the Ball Hogs. 6:45, Frank Nelson Park. Hopefully the wind dies down a little bit. Good luck to all the athletes starting their winter flag football season. We appreciate y'all listening, and we will be back tomorrow.
It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading